One of the first things I found when I was researching our client data to do my first data set analysis was, well, there's a lot of people who make discretionary choices, especially in owner compensation, how they deal with their businesses. So from that standpoint, I decided, well, there has to be a way to look at it. And so one of the ways that I like to do is communicate to entrepreneurs that this is really a story that I like to tell that kind of gives you a comparison as to why we look at it this way. So when you look at these three companies, you've got all of them are doing $1 million in revenue, and the salaries are all differing amounts. And one of them, company one, makes $250,000 of pre-tax net income, 25% profit, which is really good. Company number two, they're at 15% profit, and company number three, they're at 5%. And so just imagine that you're at a party, and these entrepreneurs are kind of talking to each other. You know, the first guy comes in and he says, man, I tell you, we're killing it. We're killing this company, making 25% profit. Things are really good. You know, the bank's kind of on my case a little bit because, you know, they're complaining that I'm not paying down the loan, but they still understand how businesses work. You know, and so they're giving me grief, but, you know, we're doing really great because that 25% profit makes us tops in the industry. Company number two, you know, that entrepreneur's going, man, I thought we were doing good at 15% profit. I mean, the bank's not calling me because we got plenty of cash and I don't have anything drawn on my line of credit, but I got to go back to my team and we got to talk about how to get to 15% profit. And so we're really struggling here. I thought we were doing good. And then company three is the typical entrepreneur. Oh man, I tell you, business is tough. It's just dog eat dog out there. The bank's on my case all the time. You know, and they just don't understand. I mean, I'm at 5% profit. Yeah, you know, we can do better profitability wise, but I mean, we're at least profitable. And I just don't understand. They're acting like they're going to call my loan or something. And it's like, how many of those bankers have ever made a payroll? I mean, they just don't get it. So the reality is take a look at this. Well, they're exactly the same business. Company one, you can see, said they're doing 25% profit. Unfortunately, the owner is taking $250,000 out in dividends and not taking a salary. You know what that means? They're overstating their profitability. They are at 15% profit, but then they're taking 100% of the profits out of the business and destroying the profitability of the business. Company two is doing it the right way. They're at 15% profit. The reason why he doesn't have the bank calling him and asking him questions like company number one is the fact that he's leaving cash in the business. He doesn't even have anything borrowed in the business. And company one, he's thinking the bank's giving him grief when, well, how is the bank ever going to get repaid if you actually take out all the profits? That's a problem. And then company three is the worst of all, because this is a guy who you probably have met in business. He's the guy that sets his consumption standards on the best year ever. Well, he probably had a good year a couple of years ago, and he said his consumption standards around taking $300,000 a year to meet all of his outside of the business obligations. Unfortunately, all the business will provide him is a $100,000 salary and $150,000 of profit. But guess what? The business kind of needs that profit sometimes to do other things. And so if you constantly take out more than what the business can produce, what most entrepreneurs end up doing is drawing on the business line of credit to then come back and, consume it personally. So you're building up business debt, and yet you're consuming it on the personal side, and eventually you got it. You've killed the milk cow, and you get one barbecue of a really skinny cow. And in that case, what you really got to come to the understanding is I need to live off of the salary that's a market-based wage for what I run the business for. And then I've got to use a good sequence of process to determine of the profits that are left over, how much do I pay in taxes, how much do I leave in the business for growth and repayment of debt, and then how much after I've done those first two things, which are kind of eating my vegetables in the business vernacular, of how much do I get to then take out once I've taken care of those obligations. And unfortunately, that may not be a really popular idea, but it's helped us really turn some businesses around and create massive wealth for the owners because they got the sequence right. And what they'll all tell you is, hey, it's only a year or two sometimes, and sometimes even less, to get it turned around to where yes, I can have a growing business and have some cash flow on top of the salary that I make.